All right, I'm going to take this off. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you being with us today for probably what is going to be the most unique Salt Bowl press conference we've ever had. I want to begin by thanking Recycle Saline. I know Tiffany Dunn is watching on Zoom or listening on Zoom. Recycle Saline has long been our sponsor of this event, and I want to thank her and Recycle Saline. I also want to thank Scott White and Farmers Bank and Trust and Gary James and all the crew at the Benton Chamber of Commerce for helping us put all this together. And certainly this wouldn't happen without Matt Johnson and M&M Productions. And so they've set all this up camera-wise and Zoom-wise, and appreciate Matt. He will also be doing the production of the pay-per-view of the game on Saturday night. So we appreciate Matt and all he's done these last few weeks, because it has been a whirlwind couple of weeks since we found out we were going to be able to play Salt Bowl 2020 a couple Fridays ago. I want to thank our athletic directors, Scott Netherey and Mike Lee, for all of their work. We spent a lot of hours over the last several months trying to put all this together, and Gary and Mayor Farmer and everyone who's been involved with this game since the beginning. This is certainly unlike any other year we've ever had. We were joking yesterday that we've been through a hurricane, a security issue, and we're prepared for a pandemic. We just never thought about having a hurricane and a pandemic in the same week. So this week is certainly, it's just 2020, that's all you can say. So we're going to get to the coaches and the players. A couple of things right quick before we do that. Tickets are still on sale at Big Red's in Saline County. There will not be tickets available at the gate. So if you could help us express that message out there, you've got to have a ticket from Big Red. There will not be any tickets sold at the gate. They're $10. If you're not able to come, have underlying conditions, we suggest you not come to the game on Saturday. And you can do the pay-per-view option. You can go to the Salt Bowl webpage, saltbowlar.com. Look at the link that says Salt Bowl at Home, and you can purchase the link from M&M Productions and watch the game and with your family in the confines of your own home on Saturday night. So we encourage you to do that. We also encourage you, if you are coming to the game Saturday, to come early. There will be security, just like last year, that you'll need to go through, and you will need to social distance while you're waiting in line to go through security. We encourage you to keep your mask on. When you enter the stadium, you must have a mask on, and you must keep it on at all times unless you're drinking a beverage or eating food. And once you do that and complete that, you must put it back on immediately afterwards. We will have people out in the bowl helping you and your family to socially distance. Once you sit down with your family group that you came with or the people you rode with, we just ask that the group that's going to be next to you be 3 seats down, one way or the other. And we will have people who will be there to kind of help to move people around to ensure that we're following the socially distanced guidelines. One thing I will ask of our media friends, I visited yesterday with the Surgeon General, Dr. Greg Bledsoe, and they obviously received some feedback last week following the scrimmage games. I know it's enticing for our friends who walk around with cameras and take photographs and film footage to gather up students to take shots to send back to the station. We were encouraged yesterday not to do that. Do not try to get students all together, even if they're masked up, to take a photo or some footage. Just get footage of all of them socially distanced if you can. And we're going to try to encourage our students not to gather up as well for photos. So if you can help us with that, obviously it would be much appreciated. We want this, as I've said 100 times in the last week, this is going to be the first game of the season. We don't want it to be the last game. And so these guys, coaches and players, have done everything that's been asked of them the last several weeks and months to prepare for this day. And we just want it to happen. We want these guys to have a memory that'll last a lifetime, something they'll always remember, even in the midst of a pandemic and a different year for a lot of families around our community. And so we thank you all for joining us. We'll talk about some of the stuff at the game. All of our community events will still be ongoing. We'll have a peanut butter drive in the month of September. You still have time to take your donations to Goodwill, and we'll have a blood drive at both high schools in the month of September as well. So the Salt Bowl is more than just a game. And the charities that we've been working with for the last several years pretty fittingly this year in the midst of a pandemic, the ones that we work with. And so we encourage you to participate in all those activities. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Coach Brad Harris. Benton will be the visiting team this year, and so I'm going to turn it over to Coach, and I'll step off the podium, and then he can introduce his players. But we have with us today two seniors, senior Garrett Brown, quarterback from Benton, and an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, Kyrie Watkins, who's going to do a little both ways this year. So they'll come up and say a few words. And then Coach Buck James will come up. He has with him two seniors as well, defensive end Rodrigo Martin and quarterback Austin Ledbetter. So, Coach Harris, floor is yours.
All right, I'm going to do like Shane and take this mask off so I can breathe and not get choked up here. Again, what a privilege to be here. It is a different year, definitely. But one thing I can say is this is just another example of the commitment of two great schools, communities that come together still to try to put on the Salt Bowl. Okay, a lot of schools may have not tried to tackle this event, but with the help of somebody like Shane Broadway and Coach Netherey and Mike Lee with the administration at the schools and our city at Benton and Bryant, we're going to pull it off. It's not going to be a Salt Bowl of years past where you have 20,000 plus fans, but it's still a great rivalry game. And that's going to be the key, is our kids get to play. And our kids grow up each year wanting to play in this ball game. And, when I got here, that's what I heard about was the Salt Bowl. We've been fortunate enough to been to the state championship game several years. And, I think you get as much talk about Salt Bowl as you do state championships in this area. So it's a huge game, and we're just excited to play here again this year. Hopefully, we can make it a more competitive game this year. We got two great teams that we feel like in their classifications. Coach James and them have won 2 in a row at the 7A conference, and the last 2 years we've played for a state championship in 6A. And right now, I think we're both preseason number 1 in each classification. I don't know what they were thinking with putting us there, but I can completely understand putting Bryant there. But, we feel like we're going to have a good competitive team again this year, and we're looking forward to it. It's a strange year with the 2020 stuff, so hopefully something strange can happen in our favor, and maybe we can win a Salt Bowl for the first time in several years. So I think I've said about everything I want to say. I want these two seniors that have done a lot for us this year. I brought with me Garrett Brown and Kyrie Watkins, and Garrett is a 3-year starter basically for us. Started halfway through his sophomore year at quarterback. He's sitting at about 5,100 yards total passing on his career right now. He's most likely going to become the all-time leading passer at Benton. And then also have Kyrie Watkins, who has been in junior high was a running back for us. All right, has grown a little bit, played some defensive line, offensive line. And this year we look to him. He's going to start on the offensive line and be a rotational guy on the defensive line for us. So I'm going to come up and let these guys talk to you about what the Salt Bowl means to them being a senior. Okay, first I'm going to have Garrett Brown come up.
So I'm just here to talk about what it means to me. Well, it means a lot to our community and stuff because we have a ton of little kids that come to the games and watch us and support what we do. So breaking a streak that's been there for 17, 18 years now with Bryant winning would be something it'd be great to see. And I also think that, we can win this game this year. And, last year, they looked really good on paper and stuff, so it was different type. But this year, I think we have a good matchup with them. That's about all I have to say. I'm going to leave it for Kyrie to go.
Salt Bowl, really, it's more than just a rivalry that we play every year. I feel like it runs a lot deeper than what a lot of people think. To Ben and Bryant both, that it's just really just to see who's the best team in Saline County and just who can be better. That's really all I have to say.
I'd just like to reiterate what Coach Harris said, and it takes a lot of people to get this thing going, and we appreciate it from the coaching staffs to all the players. It's it's a phenomenal event, and this would be my 5th one, and the undertaking and the volume of everything that happens is unbelievable, and I think it's a great tool for us in all season for both programs to get ready to play and be able to do the things it takes to be successful. And this year without team camps and 7-on-7s, it's a whole different climate. I guess is the word I'm looking for. But our kids right now, we feel like we're about where we should be at the end of spring football. It's not like we've been able to do a whole lot of tackling or done a whole lot of passing and playing pass defense and things like that. And our kids are still getting better every day. It's a process to have good football. And obviously Benton and Bryant have been in the state championship game the last couple of years, and this is a springboard for our seasons. And as Benton shows, it's not the end all, it's not the beginning of all. I think it's what it does is it gives you an opportunity to be successful. And our teams prepare for this game, and I think it makes us go to another level. And I appreciate the hard work that our kids put into it, on both sides of the field, the coaching staffs, and it's really a great honor to be able to play in this game. And, we went down to North Carolina for the last few years, and they knew about the Salt Bowl. And it carries big volume because I think anytime you have a production like this and kids are able to showcase their talents and stuff, I think gives us a bright light for Saline County. And I think that's what's the most proud thing is that win or lose, both teams always give their best and they always prepare their best, and it gives us an opportunity to be able to showcase Saline County. And I think that's at the end result, that's what we're looking for. It's probably one of the greatest places in Arkansas to live, and the football game is just another version of what it takes to show that we're the best around. And so I appreciate that from the standpoint of from being a football coach, but also being a guy that works in the Bryant School District, and I have a Benton address, so I get the whole picture of it, and it's an absolute thrill to coach in. I think even with 12,000 people, it's still going to be just as exciting. From what Benton tells us, we're close this year, so it'll be an opportunity for us to be able to turn it up a little bit and try to do a little bit better than what we're capable of doing. And we always need that fuel for the fire. And but I do appreciate these guys. And Garrett, I know that he is. We've been playing against him for 3 years, and he's a very talented quarterback. They've got some really good football players, and I expect Coach Harris, he downplayed a little bit, but to be right back where they were last year and have the opportunity to be able to win another state championship. And that's what we want to do. We want to win the first game, and then we want to be able to cheer for each other the rest of the year. And that's really what it's all about. And I appreciate these kids. I know it's hard to come up here and speak. I can't imagine what I'd been like when I was 17, 18 years old to be able to come and talk at a press conference. And I sort of ribbed our guys about it, and especially Rodrigo, because this will be his, defensive lineman don't get to talk much, so he's going to get an opportunity to give a little bit of his insight. And then Austin, I'm going to put it out there on the pedestal and say he's been seasoned for this. And both of these guys are fine young men and been a big part of what we've been able to do. And they're not leaders just on the field, they're leaders off the field. And I really appreciate these two young men. I know that Coach Harris is proud of these guys. These aren't your typical guys that you bring to the press conference. These are guys that are the bell cows, and they're the guys that do your job day in, day out, regardless of the situation, regardless of the down and distance or the score of the game. And so this is a great opportunity for all these kids to be able to showcase all their talents and then give them an opportunity to enjoy the whole process. Thank you.
First of all, I would just like to thank everyone who's made Salt Bowl 2020 happen. Salt Bowl to me is like a holiday. I've been going to the Salt Bowl ever since I was a little kid. I've lived in Bryant my whole life. So the Salt Bowl means everything to me. When I first I got to punt my sophomore year into the Salt Bowl. And when I looked up in the crowd and I saw 40,000, 30,000 people, it made my heart drop. And I remember as a kid, going around to the stands, to the getting hot dogs from the concession stands and things like that. It's just those little bitty memories that make my senior year and everything special. But I'm excited. I'm excited to play football. I'm really confident in our team this year, and hope this is a great Salt Bowl this year. Thank you.
Salt Bowl means a lot to me. Like Austin said, I've been going to Salt Bowl since I was a little kid in the stands playing, and I always said that one day I hope I get to play. And I just remember sophomore year, Coach James was telling us all it's going to be a different situation and how we play. Coming out the tunnel was crazy. You had people screaming, the band playing. I feel like you was at a college football game. Actually, a lot of people don't get to do what we do, and it's just crazy that I get to play my senior year in the Salt Bowl. And I'm thankful for the people that made this happen, because I was kind of down if we was going to have a season or not. But that's how my Salt Bowl goes.
All right. Thank you, guys. That's I can see there were 4 of us that started this. It was Coach Farmer, the late Ronnie Kerr, Gary, and myself. And for us, hearing that from you guys to say that, what this game means to you, is the reason we do what we do. The reason we've done it for 21 years now, right, Mayor? And it's the joy that we get in being a part of this game is something that you'll always remember for the rest of your lives. So thank you for your comments, coaches. All right, we're going to turn it over to the media for any questions that you may have. I think the mic is open, right, Matt? Don't be shy.
I'll go first. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Trey.
Coach James, this for you. Getting to the top takes a lot of work, but is it staying at the top? Obviously, you guys have won two years in a row the state championship. Staying at the top, is it tougher to stay at the top or to get to the top?
Well, I hope we can stay at the top, so that might be tougher than what we been able to do. But I've been in the same place that Coach Harris has been in. I lost 2 in a row as a head coach, and there's not anything that hurts worse, I promise you. And it makes you work harder. And I think trying to get to the top is a lot tougher road because of all the obstacles. Once you get there, you sort of have a roadmap, and you can show your kids what you're doing. And the whole time you're trying to get there, you're trying to figure out what I did wrong or what we did wrong. And you start second guessing yourself on everything, but you press your kids, you work harder at it, and at the top you got to think, well, if I let up, then it's my fault, and if the kids let up, it's their fault. And so you're really working a juggling act all the time, and no matter what you're doing. And coaches always evaluating and self-evaluating themselves and their teams and their coaching staffs, and it's always a tough deal to be able to get there, but to get and stay there and repeat and be able to do that and then have a chance to three-peat. I'm in uncharted territory myself, and it's a lot of pressure on our kids. It's the guys before them that done a lot of this, and they're not here anymore. Somebody's going to have to step up and take their place, and that's what we're telling them all the time. Those guys aren't here, and our scrimmage, and I know that people have alluded to it, we didn't play very well, and but we had some of those guys that played for us last year that didn't play very well either. And so it's a new year, it's a new time, and it's new guys got to step up and take their place. And it's a opportunity for these guys to have their opportunity to shine.
Thanks. Appreciate it. And then, Coach Harris, for you, obviously a different look to the Salt Bowl. You're not going to have 30,000 fans or more inside War Memorial Stadium. It's only going to be capped at 12,000. How do you think the atmosphere is going to be this year as opposed to in years past?
Well, I can think back to 2014 when the first Salt Bowl that I was associated with, when Coach Netherey was our head coach, and I can remember walking out of the tunnel that night and having chill bumps. And I walked down beside both of my boys that were on the team, and it was just an atmosphere that you've never been a part of, coaching at smaller schools and everything. But, if we still sell it out at 12,000, I think you're going to have a huge crowd. I mean, your average high school game probably at home games is not even close to that. And, we would all love to have 12,000 at Benton or at Bryant every Friday night when we play. So I think the people are going to show up from Saline County. I think putting this game on, like I said, is just another example. I think people are going to show up for it. There's a lot of people ask me all the time, Coach, you think we'll have a crowd? I think you'll come close to selling it out this year, and I think the atmosphere will be good. Our student sections, is going to be different, that's for sure. And I know that's one big thing that, I can remember in 14 when I walked out there, the Bryant student section started heckling me as much as they did the players because I was warming up over on that sideline, So you get at each other. It's all fun and games and everything. But I really feel like it'll be a great environment, and, it'll definitely be different than 25 or 30,000, but still going to be a great high school environment for us.
All right, other questions?
Hey, Shane, it's Hayden over at Channel 11.
Hey.
This is for both head coaches. Guys, I know we had talked a little bit earlier about how much hurt it was for all the guys, especially the baseball players and the spring kids who were seniors and didn't get a chance to have their season. Just the fact that this game is getting to be played and that these seniors get to have a Salt Bowl. And I heard Garrett and Austin kind of mention, growing up and watching it and how special it was. Just what does it mean to these kids to be able to know that this game is going to happen after so much doubt over the past 4 or 5 months?
I think it's tremendous. You don't take anything for granted. I mean, it's like an injury. Any football player that goes out there and thinks that they're going to have a great season and they get hurt on the first play of the game and can't play anymore, it'd be the same thing as us not being able to play the Salt Bowl and or to play our season. And these guys have been training for this since they were in the 7th and 8th grade, and a lot of them started in Pee Wee. This is a big deal for those guys, and nobody's sicker than we are about the things that happened last spring. Those guys, athletics is a big part of a lot of guys growing up. It's an opportunity for them to develop as young men, teammates, and friends, and to miss out on that opportunity is huge. And I hate it for any kid not to be able to chase their dreams and be able to do the things that they love to do and do it through the end of the season. Win or lose, at the end of the day, they create teammates, they create friends, they create memories of a lifetime, and really that's what sports does for us. And I'm a firm believer if they're not doing this, they're going to be good at something else. And I know that I would have been. And I know that sports has sort of kept me on the right track and to get me to where I am, and if it hadn't been for sports and coaches, there's no telling what could have happened. And I think that's what these kids need. They need that busy time, and they need to be around their teammates and their coaches.
I think back to last March and when we got out of school and the guys that were involved in spring sports and everything, and try to put myself into that situation as a guy that, like Coach James said, athletics kept me on the straight and narrow. Athletics was what I went to school for. And I think back to the baseball season, our guys, we got a really good baseball team, feel like we got a chance to push for a state championship. Our track team, Coach Ray was excited about that. And those seniors, get that ripped away from them. They're the rest of their senior year. Going into this season, we get to start workouts back on June the 1st. And real limited workouts with what we could do and everything. And then in July, we were pretty hopeful as coaches, I think, around the state that maybe we would move to the next level, maybe throwing the football around a little bit, playing some 7-on-7, and then that didn't happen. And then you're at the middle of June. And by middle of June, we had some guys questioning whether or not we was going to have any football, period. I think a lot of these guys can probably say that right now. I know I did as a coach. And, there's a lot of guys that are going, Coach, what happens if we don't have the salt bowl? What happens if we don't play football? So, you got a ton of kids that sports is their life, and sports is what they come to school for. And sports helps our school run smooth. The Salt Bowl is a testament to that, okay? Everybody in the state of Arkansas knows what the Salt Bowl is. Everybody around this region of the U.S. does, like Coach James said in North Carolina. People know what the Salt Bowl is. So putting this on and us hosting this is a huge deal, not only in the state of Arkansas, but also, in this area. People are going to be watching this game, but I know our kids are excited about it right now. They got an opportunity to play. We tell our kids every day, don't take it for granted, because it might be your last day to practice. It might be your last game. So we're treating it as our first game, and we're hoping it's not our last. So we're going to attack it just like we do every year and have a great time with it. But it's a big deal for us just to get the season kicked off.
Thank you both. Really appreciate it.
Hey, Gabe. One thing I will mention, not just being looked at from state and regional level, I received a call from a national media outlet yesterday, just inquiring about the game and the history and how we're going to put it together. And I'm just grateful to the health department, Terry Paul. I want to mention him specifically. He and his staff have been wonderful, helping us with our plan, Parks and Tourism, War Memorial Stadium, trying to work through all the issues. Benton, Bryant, and Sheriff's Department, police departments have all been wonderful in responding to our needs to help put on this game this year. Everybody's just worked together. It's a collaborative effort, school districts and the state, governor's office, everybody who's been involved to help us get to Saturday. And so we're excited. The governor's going to be there to do the coin toss. Secretary of Education is going to be the Bryant honorary captain, and Eddie Smeckenbecker. I've got Eddie's mask, a Benton mask, to take to him here in a minute. He's going to be down at Malvern for the governor's COVID press conference today. So everybody's excited to see Eddie Saturday night. So other questions? All right, we'll end it there. Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to take the annual photo, a little socially distanced with masks on, with the Salt Bowl trophy, by tradition that we've always done. And so we'll do that. We look forward to seeing everybody Saturday night. The gates will open at 5:30. Pregame is at 7. We will have a flyover, so you want to be in your seats when the national anthem is played, or standing up, please. And then we'll proceed on with the game. We've got some community service awards that we're going to give out to some special people. Coach Steve Griffin, Councilwoman Evelyn Reed are here. We're about to present them with their awards, and you'll see a video of that Saturday night. And we just thank everybody for their involvement, all of our sponsors, the coaches for their time, and the players. And good luck Saturday night, guys, and we'll see you at War Memorial Stadium. Thank you all.